Hi guys, I'm Martikor and my neighbors are doing a lot of construction right now, so if there's noise, sorry for that. So The Sims 2 is now available to purchase as the Legacy Collection. And some issues have been fixed, some haven't. There are some new issues, like that's another topic. I will be making another video kind of relating to that, but the Legacy Collection has less of a problem with settings in a way that certain settings are available to you from the start by default. You don't have to run it through Graphics Rules Maker to bring back those settings, but also by default, it has all the settings set to low. So you definitely have to go into the settings and customize them. So let me walk you through them. Explain what they do, explain what settings you should have on like a modern computer, but also if you've been playing The Sims 2 for a while, there might be some settings that you didn't know you could disable, so stay with me. Let's start with graphics. So if you first launch the Legacy Collection, you will probably have all of them on low or reflections off or like the worst looking The Sims 2 that you can get. And also the resolution by default will be this. So this is the Ultimate Collection but fixed with Graphics Rules Maker, so it's pretty much the same. And in the Legacy Collection you will have the 1920 over 1080 and probably a higher one as well. So you have to set the game to the same resolution as your computer is. The user interface might be very small at first. You might get used to it, but if you can't get used to it, you can also set it to 1600 over 900. Because it's the same ratio, but the UI will be a little bit bigger. But if it's not your screen's native resolution, it might cause some problems when you're launching the game, like, your desktop will be bigger for a while or something. Like, there will be some scaling issues probably, but once you launch the game, it should be fine and the UI will be a little bit bigger. Actually, I'll try this. Oh yeah, I have the game in a window. If I had it on full screen, the UI is bigger. It is bigger than on my normal resolution. So if I already mentioned that my game is in windowed mode, this is not an obvious thing to do. Like, you don't have a setting in game to set your game into borderless or windowed mode. But you can work around it and actually make it a window. And I really recommend doing that. Whenever someone has issues with like DirectX pop-up when they try to launch the game, or crashing even, I always say that windowed mode saves the lives of little puppies because it's not guaranteed, but it can actually fix a lot of issues with your game. For some reason, windowed mode is a lot more stable for The Sims 2, especially if you want to switch between windows or, like minimize the game. Windowed mode is so smooth, man. So I will show you that on the Ultimate Collection that I actually have like disconnected from the app, but I can still show you. So go to Properties and Advanced Launch Options and type -W here. It's dash W. Minus might not work. And save it. This will only work if you have the game opening from the EA app. So I run my game from the desktop icon. So you go to, my system is in Polish, sorry for that, but can I? You go to Properties and in this, where you have the path of the file that launches the game, you type space -W. And this way, next time you launch the game, it will open in a window. So normally when you launch it in a window, it looks like this. It's not ideal. Maybe you'd want it to look like full screen still, like have it borderless. And you can with Borderless Gaming. I have it on Steam, but you can just download this software for free. The Steam version is if you want to support the creator. I got it once for like $1 or something on sale. So you launch Borderless Gaming, put The Sims 2 game in favorites, minimize it, and it's now borderless, and it looks beautiful. Let's go back to the settings. So first we have shadows. In the Ultimate Collection, shadows are broken, you need a mod fix for that, or you can turn them off. to not have like black rectangles under the Sims. And also don't panic if you don't have this setting, if it's gray when you're checking settings in neighborhood view, because it's not available in the neighborhood view. It's only available when you're in the family. All of these 6 settings you can definitely get on high and turn reflections on and everything, because if you have it on low, the game will just not look very nice. Sims will have like 2 fingers. There will be no reflections in the mirrors. If you have a computer that is younger than like 2005, you can set all of this to high, you're fine. Also, smooth edges is something that you might not have in the Ultimate Collection if you haven't run the graphics rules maker. And also, the lack of this setting is a real troublemaker in the game, because you might get flickering, you might get square water in neighborhood view, a lot of very common issues, graphic issues with the game. So make sure to have this setting in your game available and set it to more. UI transparency really depends on what you prefer. If you turn it off, the UI will just be, well, it won't be transparent, so it will just be flat. And if you go to, oh, this is actually transparent, that's so weird. Like normally it's fully white, it doesn't have any transparency. I will probably have to go back to neighborhood view for this to refresh. Use square pixels, definitely not, because your game will just be like squarish. No one needs that. Object hiding, I would turn it off, because there's no need to turn it on if your computer is younger than 2005. But you might prefer to turn it on, I guess. What it does is, if you have a house that has more than 1 floor and you go to the upper floor, the bottom floor furniture disappears. Only like rugs stay, you know, everything else is just empty. You can see the Sims still, but the furniture is gone. Like if the bottom floor is completely covered with floor, furniture will vanish. So this was a good setting for lower end computers back in the day, that it would just take less rendering to only render 1 floor of the house. It doesn't really do anything for performance these days. Audio settings, well, this is definitely a preference thing. I usually have music off, but only for videos, basically. Like, you know, if I edit a video and the music clips, that's awful. But if I have it on, I have it pretty low, and sound effects are also pretty low, because I feel like the sound effects in this game are so loud. You can also disable certain songs from the radio if you don't like them. Well, the Legacy Collection disabled some of them for you. In game options, we have edge scrolling. If you're on windowed mode, doesn't matter if you have it on, it will not work. I have it on, whatever. Catalogs display custom content. If you have this setting off, the catalogs will not display custom content, but custom content will still work. The disable custom content setting in the pop-up at startup requires restarting the game to work. If you don't want any custom content to be available in your game in this play session, you have to disable it, leave the game, and open the game again. This is not very obvious because the game doesn't give you any information on it, and pretty much all the other settings will work without restarting the game. Display custom content dialog at startup. I usually have this off. You can disable this little window that pops up when you start up the game. It doesn't have to appear every time. You can turn it off. Forced 12-hour clock. Now, you can either have a 12-hour or 24-hour clock, but in the Ultimate Collection it doesn't work. There's a fix for that. I have it off, and still I have a 12-hour clock that I got used to. I guess I could just as well turn it on. Doesn't matter. So usually the clock depends on which language you have in the game. Like if you have the game in Polish, you will definitely have the 24-hour clock, but you can also technically change it in the settings if you fix it. I'm not sure if this is an issue in the Legacy Collection though. Auto login, this is very outdated, like I don't even have an account. Sim while minimized, definitely useful when you're using windowed mode because it's super easy to minimize then. So if you want the game to still go, like you have it unpaused and Sims are doing their thing, you minimize it to do something else, like watch a TV show or something, the Sims will still live their lives when the game is minimized. If it's on. If it's off, they won't. Camera rotation Sims 1 style. So Sims 1 style is, first of all, which axis is that? Like the horizontal one is reversed. So now I am moving my mouse right and now left. In the default, it's the other way around. This is what Sims 1 style is? That's so stupid. I always thought Sims 1 style meant that you only have like 4 angles, like in Sims 1, and it's just reversed. I just now discovered this because I never changed this setting. So this is a really misleading setting. If you want to reverse rotation, because it's more comfortable for you, the Sims 1 style is the way to go. Definitely not comfortable for me. Let's go back. Lot view options, very important. So if you want, to see neighbors, if you have more than the base game, because that wasn't a thing in the base game, or like maybe even like a little bit further than that. All of this can be just set to the highest possible. So neighbors on, this way you see neighbors. It's low res, it's very pixelated, but you can see them. View distance extra large, I would definitely go for extra large. Decorations on, if you have them off, you can't see any like neighborhood trees or anything like that. Clickable neighbors, if you have it on, you can click on a house somewhere when you're in live mode / live mode, and you can just, wait, where's an occupied lot? Oh, and you can just switch from family to family, skipping one loading screen. So I have this off because I sometimes click by accident and it's annoying, but it can be useful. Oh, there was something about snow snow on ground. So this is a season setting. If it's snowing, you can decide if you want the snow to actually accumulate on the ground. And, like Sims walk on it and it gathers around their legs and stuff like that. Like it's 3D. Back in the day, this could really lower the performance if the snow was on the ground. So I would recommend having it on the ground because that's a full winter vibe. But if you feel like snow is actually like causing some lag or something, you can turn it off. Back to snow here. Snow X-ray cursor. So if you have it off and something is on the floor beneath the snow, you can only see it in buy or build mode where snow disappears. So if you want to see it normally, you can have the snow X-ray cursor that if you hover over snow, you get like a little circle of grass around your cursor. So you can see stuff underneath the snow. And the fade distance, why do I have this extra large if it's supposed to be off? Yeah, it is kind of counterintuitive that first you have off, then small, then the larger settings. But actually off is the highest setting here, because if you have fade distance off, nothing fades. If it's extra large, that's less than off. You know what I mean? Well, here I can really see that much of a difference, but off doesn't fade anything in the distance. And free will, definitely a preference. Camera options. Picture-in-picture window is the little window that you get here in the corner. Did you know that you can move this window, by the way? Like if you drag it on the top of it, you can actually move it around. So this is the little window that pops up when you have cockroaches on the lot, or when someone's dying, or when there's a fire, when someone is at your door, when something is happening. I've had it disabled for years and years. I can't even remember the moment when I had it enabled, honestly, because to me it's just annoying. Like it doesn't really show very important stuff. Sometimes I don't realize that something is happening for a minute without this picture-in-picture window, but I still prefer it this way. Special event camera. This is cutscenes. So, your sim is getting married, your sim is having their first kiss, first woohoo. Remember back in the day when we were like 12, I was 12 when the game came out, so we would turn off the screen or just like cover it up or something and be super stressed when someone was walking into the room when the sims were woohooing for the first time. I would even like let the cutscene go and just leave the room as if I didn't know it was happening on the screen. And we could just disable the cutscenes. We could just disable them in the settings. We had no idea. I know they are the charm of The Sims 2, but if you're playing rotationally, they constantly happen, so it's like, you can get tired of them, so you can just disable them. Neighborhood camera drift, I have it off. When you're in neighborhood view, and you're not doing anything, the neighborhood screen is just there. When you have this setting enabled, the camera still moves around a little bit in the neighborhood view, even if you're not touching anything. If you have this setting off, it just stays put. It doesn't move at all. So this is the difference. Snapshots. Definitely large and high. They will still not be very big and very high quality. So if you want to take really high resolution screenshots in the game, I would recommend doing this with either the Shift Windows S. I think this is only for Windows 11. This way you can just take a screenshot, or Windows Print Screen as well for a screenshot, or you can use software like Fraps or Greenshot, I think that's called, or anything else that you can just have like a hotkey for taking screenshots and it saves in a folder for you. Because The Sims 2 itself doesn't have a built-in system of getting high-resolution screenshots. They are only like 600 over 450, I think. They're pretty small. So for the resolution of your actual screen, I would recommend getting like system screenshots, not in-game screenshots. The Windows screenshot might not work if you have the game on full screen, unfortunately. Video capture, I don't really care about it very much. It's still not very good. If you want really nice video capture, this is the thing. OBS or anything else that's similar. You can also use like the NVIDIA Shadowplay software. I used to use it. Or I think even Windows has some kind of built-in screen video capture thing. And max video recording. How high can you go? Is there a limit? Like, you know, the in-games videos are usually crap, so whatever. I think there is no limit. So other than that, you only have the Game Tip Encyclopedia and the credits with the towny names in them. Love it. Okay, so I think that's it. I think I covered everything. So most of the settings you can just set on high and not even think about it. Some of them are just preference. So I think it's good to know what all of them actually do, especially the camera options, the first row of camera options. Because there are certain things that you don't have to live with. You can disable them. So that's it. I hope this video was useful. And as always, thank you very much for watching, subscribing, stuff like the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.